All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Pete. Good
Morning.
afternoon and good evening to our fellow humans around the world. So, today we want to talk about a term called future pacing, which is you know, just a very an old and tried and true way of imagining and feeling and practicing a new skill or habit so that it becomes a reality. And last week we touched on the affirmations from all like the 7 affirmations going up through the chakras. And Pete was saying that, affirmations are very much connected to then this practice that we're going to do today. So, wanted to just start by saying that we will discuss this practice today, and then these are also techniques that are easy enough for your own self work, and they're powerful enough for practitioners in the field. And so that's our intention with every session here, is to offer um, things that are helpful for you, like we said, for your own self work, your own change work, and also for practitioners, because we're always getting more and more tools in our tool belt. And then the second portion of these sessions, we do guided meditations that Pete often is the one that runs. Sometimes I do too. And so we'll just have you be able to have an experience to just be led and guided, and then come back to it at any point to do again, to remember, so that you can lead yourselves at certain points once you learn the technique. And then we will end with any questions and comments. And, the point of these always is for participation, so that you can participate in the live or participate afterwards when you're listening by commenting, of course, in the sections or messaging us. So we are ready to get the show on the road.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, future pacing, one of my favorite techniques to use, but it's one where we have to use it after everything else, right? We can't do it in the beginning because we're not clear enough on what skill we want or feeling or habit we're working to incorporate, right? This is kind of like the butter. I guess that's probably, you don't put butter on Sunday. This is the cherry on top of a sundae, right? I was thinking butter on the corn on the cob. This is like that sweet thing that we can add to it to make it better. So when we think of future pacing, it really does 5 things. The first one is it builds that emotional connection we need, right? So this is one where I think of Bob Proctor. He used to talk about how you need to have desire plus emotion to create change, right? This is really there to build that emotional connection needed to create that change. It also enhances our motivation because the more we see or experience something that we want, the closer we become to taking action on it, right? And so when we do this repetitively, we just get that motivation to go, oh man, I want it so bad, that we'll take any step to get there. It helps us overcome limiting beliefs where we go, I don't know if I can do that. Like, who am I to do that? Am I good enough? It begins to break those down. It really builds focus because versus just kind of going through life, right? We're honing in on a very specific path. But the thing I love it the most is it creates the mind-body synergy that we need to make change. And what I mean by that is it really taps into our subconscious mind for change. Now, it's one I've experienced, and I'm sure a lot of us have. To the unconscious mind or subconscious mind, there's no such thing as real or not real. Everything's real, right? It's why, like, I'll watch a movie and I'll get so invested. And it's like I'm cheering, I'm holding my breath, I'm rooting for the underdog, I'm crying, like I'm doing all these things. Well, consciously, I know it's fake. I know it's a movie, a TV show, but unconscious, right? My subconscious is like, this is real. Like I'm vested, right? It gets a lot of us in TV shows. They leave us on that cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Have to watch the next one.
So and you're so vested that you can't just go, why, whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also like the lemon, right? It's like, just imagine for one moment, just think about a lemon and just think about squeezing that lemon on your tongue and then notice the sensation. I mean, to me, I think that's such a great way for us to just open up the belief system that our emotions, our thoughts can change our body, can viscerally give us something. Did your taste buds go a little bit? Mine did.
Yeah. I get the little watering in my mouth with that one every time.
Right.
Yeah. Because every experience we have is real, even if we make it up. So like, and I think with my brother, he was telling me he read an article where it was something along the lines of 80% of our memories aren't real. They're interpretations of an event, but they're not real.
Yeah, it's a great distinction.
Yeah.
And it can be petrifying, but then I think it also really opens up the possibility for what we're talking about today. Right?
Yeah. Which is this whole like concept of future pacing is such a natural thing. Like in our everyday life, we do this so like, what are you having for dinner? Right? You go, well, in my cabinet, right? I have spaghetti. Oh, I have pasta sauce. Oh, I have chicken. Oh, I have, rice. I have lettuce. You're future pacing your life, right? You're creating what you're going to have for dinner. That's how we also make lists of like, oh, I got to go to the store because I know we don't have this. And then we get to the store and we go, well, okay, so how am I going to navigate through this store?
Well, and again, this I think is so important for us to just realize we do this all the time, and we do it in what we consider reality and real, and that imagination, hypnosis, all these things are kind of like whatever word you want to use for it. But the reality is that we already do it. And so this is like the opportunity and the invitation and the gift to say, do it with a different intention, a different
deliberate
costume, deliberate. But for we're deliberately making lists and we're deliberately thinking about dinner. But when you said that, it just made me feel like I think a lot of people feel like reality is reality and this is something different. Like reality is just what is, and this other stuff is not for everyone. But it's like, why not? Like, imagine your better life. If you're already imagining your dinner or imagining your shitty life or imagining the list of things you have to do, use that same tool you use 1,000 times a day for something that you want.
Yeah. And when I meet people who will go like, I don't know what word I would say they call it, but like fake, scam, however you want to look at it. Like, it's not real, future pacing. It's like, no, it's very real. Because what a lot of people do when they say it's not real is they go, typical one, I want to win the lottery, right? Or I want $1 million, or I want the Ferrari. They want some material thing, right? But then they don't do anything to work towards it, right? They go, Pete, I thought it. It's like, yep. But you didn't involve all the right feelings and intentions in it, right? Just like if we were just to sit at our counter at home and go, I need milk, I need eggs, I need cheese, let me put it on the refrigerator. Okay, shopping's done, right? It doesn't work that way, right? We still need to go, oh, I got to take this note or this list to the grocery store. I got to walk down the aisles, right? We still got to do the actionable steps mixed in with that future pacing of what we know we need, you know? And the people who I met who go, well, it doesn't work, they never did any of the actionable steps.
So what are some of the actionable steps?
Well, so this is where it's different for everyone. So like, let's say it was someone who wanted to lose weight, right? The actionable steps could be, you know what? I'm going to eat less cookies, ice cream. I'm going to run a 5K without stopping. I'm going to jog 3 times a week, right? If they can go, hey, that's what I got to do to lose weight, right? They make that list. Here's the items I need. Put it on the refrigerator and go, done. They'll never lose the weight, right? But if the person goes, here's my things. Oh, okay, so I'm going to jog 3 times a week, do my 5K in 6 months, and cut rid of, ice cream. And they sit there and they go, all right, so what does that actually look like, right? Let me go to the grocery store to see what it's like. Because they may go into that grocery store in their mind and go, oh, you know what? It's not that I got to get rid of the ice cream. I just got to swap it out for this ice cream. Oh, it's not necessarily about giving up the ice cream, but maybe smaller portions of the ice cream so it lasts longer, right? Versus that one night. It could be something else that's truly in alignment with what they're working towards. And without that action of seeing themselves doing it, to practice it before it even happens, you never take that action to get started. So it was one where I think it was Stanford who did an experiment with their basketball players. And it was, they divided the team into 3 groups. Group A practiced on the court. They physically did the dribbling. They physically did the shooting. Group B sat in a chair and just future paced themselves doing these activities. Group C got to fool around. They got to do whatever they wanted as long as they didn't practice. And what they found after 30 days of doing this exercise with all of them, Group A, who physically did the exercises, improved 13%. Group B, who just future paced themselves doing these exercises, got 12% better. Group C, who just did whatever they wanted, didn't get better, but didn't get worse. Their skill set stayed the same, And that is the power of future pacing. It's almost just as powerful as actually doing. Now, there's certain things in our life where we do it every day, right? Like driving. We do it enough every day where we don't necessarily have to future pace ourselves anymore. But let's say it's those tough conversations with our spouse. And maybe it's not an everyday thing. Maybe it's a once a month thing or, once every 2 weeks. That would take a long time to practice it in the moment, right? Those are the moments where we got to begin to future pace. Those are the moments where it becomes so important to go, okay, all right, so I'm going to get ready. I'm going to go have that conversation with them. I'm going to see these specific words come out of my mouth. I'm going to see him react this way. I'm going to see him react another way. What if he reacts this way? How do I respond? Right? How do I handle that obstacle, that adversity, that setback that's going to come? Do I handle it going, screw it, I'm done. I'm going to go back to being miserable. Or is it like, hey, how do I reset this so I can keep moving forward?
Yeah. Yeah. And I experienced that too a lot with when I was actively really in a lot of dance classes, and sometimes I was too tired to get out of bed or off the couch, but I knew that I could just imagine the dance movements, and that so much of it came from and I would notice the things that I couldn't do physically. I was also having a hard time seeing myself. There was incomplete pieces of the thought process in order to do that move. And so that was so interesting because I had heard about that, the basketball thing you were talking about too. And the study I remember is that they had people just practice with no thinking about it and some that practice and thought about it. and then some that didn't do the, something else. And that, when you did both, that there was so much value there. And so I really experienced that with dance, not only noticing like, oh, if I future pace my dancing, I'll learn it, but more realizing where there were where it was not connected, where
Yeah.
there were spaces where the connections could happen. So that was I found value in that for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's one where I think we as people overlook our ability to create.
Right.
Right. We typically look at it as we react.
Right.
Right. We go outside and it's raining. Like we react to that.
Yeah.
Versus creating like a response of like, hey, if it rains tomorrow, this is what I'm gonna do. Right. If it's sunny tomorrow, this is what I'll do. If it's snowing tomorrow, this is what I'll do. We just react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, that is really the difference, is that we do generally live our lives through reactions, but we have the capability and possibility to create. I think that's a really powerful statement.
Yeah.
Let's move into the guided meditation so we can keep these little tidbits. Although I never like to cut anything off, we'll keep on continuing every week. So for those that are listening, at any point, as long as these videos are up, these little guided meditations are little snippets for you to just take about a few minutes to just stop what you're doing and just tune in and breathe and get a little experience. So,
Yep.
and if you're driving or you're working and you're still listening, that's okay too, because I've noticed that even just taking some breaths and getting present and out of like a rat race thoughts in your head is really beneficial. So I just want to encourage just a present moment experience and some breath as we do this with Pete.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. So all we're gonna do is get nice and comfy, because comfy is key. And then we're gonna take that nice deep breath in. And when you exhale, just close your eyes. You get to keep them closed just until the end. And like always, focus is huge. And where attention goes, energy flows. So maybe today you just focus on the temperature, the texture, the air around you. If it feels cool on your skin, if it feels warm, if it's moving or still. Maybe you choose to focus on the sounds going on around you. Knowing every sound you hear brings you deeper into your experience. And you begin to let your mind to drift, to focus, to think about a small, simple goal that you want to achieve. It could be related to your career, your health, your relationships, or any other area of your life. See, and I want you just to begin to see yourself achieving this goal. To look around, to see who's with you, whether they're smiling, maybe whether they're frowning or jealous. Hopefully they're smiling. But see who's around you, who's with you. Notice what the environment is like achieving this goal. Maybe you hear sounds, voices that come along with this achievement, this victory, this win. Maybe you're holding something to signify, I made it. Notice how this feels physically, everything around you. Maybe you feel the emotions, the proudness, the happiness, the relief, the excitement. Maybe it's a mixture of a whole bunch of emotions. So you're bringing in all your senses. Notice how much more real it becomes. Because you see, future pacing is more than just seeing your success. It's about feeling. It's about believing in yourself, in your success. So you find in this moment, you can bring in all those affirmations you mentioned before that revolve around this. I know. I see. I speak. I love. I act. I feel. I am. Knowing you deserve to achieve this goal. So you get to bridge that gap between where you are now and where you aspire to be, reinforcing your belief, your motivation, your confidence in your journey. So you take that time to really feel it all, to let it wash over you, to see those actions you now take, the feelings you get to feel that motivate, that guide, that propel you just into that first step, into this action. Celebrating every win along the way, celebrating every milestone you hit, reinforcing these good feelings. Just how you get to feel great about yourself every day, knowing you are taking the right steps, the right actions to bring this feeling into your reality where it gets to stay forever. Because now all I want you to do is every day to practice this, whether it's morning, at lunch, at night. It just gets easier, it gets better, it gets clearer. And every time you practice this, you reinforce your ability to achieve everything you put your focus on. Because where attention goes, energy flows. Take all the time you need now to do as many repetitions as you need now to know that today you will take that first step, maybe even that second step to reach this goal. And when you've done all of that, when you get to know what it's like to truly achieve, to feel, to sense, to hear this goal being achieved, and you know just that first step, you get to open your eyes and come on back, but taking all the time you need now to do so. Welcome back.
All right, that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll say that for me, that was a really great experience. And, something came up right away for me that I wanted to work on. And I was just really able to kind of like visualize what it would take to do. And then I really liked at the end, um, and then even, considering like the one step or even the two steps that you could take to bring you closer to that. So I feel like that's a really good guided meditation. I will keep everyone posted about how it worked for me.
Yeah, it's one where until we can really see ourselves, like if we think about, last week with the affirmation, sometimes the I am is the toughest one because we go, I'm not there yet, right? And so, let's say it's that the person who wanted to run the 5K, they're not there yet, but you know what? They can do the first half mile.
Definitely. Or even, get the running shoes. Some people just, needs
Yeah.
to be there. Or
Just that first step.
stretch once a day. Yeah, whatever that first step might be for you.
Yeah.
So to just kind of summarize today about what we were talking about, this session was just about this practice of how you can start to visualize a new skill, a new habit, or feeling that you're desiring. And to just remember that we already do this thousands of times a day. It just happens to be kind of reactionary and for what might be, I don't know, considered mundane or something like that. But we already have this skill within us. Now, this is an opportunity to put some intention into an attention so that an energy can flow towards your co-creation with life and with the universe. This is an access point to co-create, to be part of your life, that you don't have to just react to life happening to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one to know one way or another, about a lot of things about life, but I do know that we do have a choice, and this is one tool to try to begin to take some action in that way. And it's a reminder that we already do it all the time. And I just think that's really key for us. We already the term in our world is future trip, but we are future pacing by what am I going to have for dinner tonight? What's going to happen tomorrow? So now you have this tool of
Yep.
using that exact same mindset, that exact same machine, that exact same way, and put in some new ingredients, some new thoughts, some new feelings. So, what about you? Do you have any last closing words, Pete?
Yeah, it's one where don't dismiss it right away. Practice it, right? Because it's one where 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, and that could be excessive, right? But if you stick with it, you will notice changes. It's impossible not to. So like I run into people who are like, well, Pete, like I don't even know if this is real. What does it cost you to try it? Nothing.
Right.
But what do you have to gain? Everything. So even if you think it's weird or out there, try it. No one even has to know you're trying it. It's not like you get them screaming at the mountaintop. Just do it, a couple times a day when you're alone and just see what happens.
Honestly, I know I'm not the only one that, has had like circular thoughts that are, like just unserving in some way. But I would risk saying that the monkey mind and what it's doing inside your head is probably way more bizarre and way more off and way more out there and way more anything that you might think that something spiritual might be than actually choosing creation and a better life and all of that. So, well, thanks as always for showing up every week, Pete, and for everyone who tunes in, and I really appreciate it. And let's see, I had something to say at the end here. I don't quite remember exactly what it was, so we'll move on for next week. But I just want to say that we all have a say in our lives, and so we'll just take it from there. So have a great week, everyone.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Ciao for now.
Bye.